You ready to cook?
Dude,
you ready to cook? Easy work?
It's not easy work, but it is. Your timing could not be better. And I felt so bad because I saw the text Thursday morning, but I couldn't get to it till then. But I was thinking about him like, he has no idea
What I just
how great
did.
of a topic this is.
How many years have you been in this one relationship? How is it so fresh for you now?
As soon as you hit record, I'll tell you.
Done.
This is Caesar Walker, the cool, calm, collected one.
And I'm Ronnie Gatry, the emotional one.
And we are the Tipping Point Podcast, your source for the black male's perspective.
Tipping Point Podcast.
We talked about when is it an appropriate time for men to date. And apparently that was a very timely text, a very timely suggestion in the topic.
Yes.
Why was it?
So Sunday, I had an opportunity to play golf with one of my frat brothers, younger frat brothers. And this dude is in his late 20s. So like, I'm pretty much a grandfather compared to this guy. But he's dating actively. But one of the things that I admire about him is his approach to dating. It's very mature. It's nothing like I would have had anywhere the 27 to 29 range at all.
Okay.
This frat brother of mine is highly accomplished, very successful professional, even at a young age. And naturally, he attracts a lot of attention from women. And the thing that I like about him most is he knows that through trial and error that he's admitted, he knows that he can't just handle that any kind of way. And he doesn't want to handle that any kind of way that leads to his detriment. So I'm getting somewhere here. Just keep walking with me. But during this conversation, he shared several experiences I'm not going to get into. But one of the things we got to was like, he kept saying, I got to get myself right before I pursue anything else. He's a man that knows what he wants, even at a young age, and he's committed to the interpersonal self-work that he has to do on himself. And he knows the more that he accomplishes there, the better he's going to be when he enters said relationship with woman.
Okay.
And so why this is so gripping to me is I didn't have that at that age. I didn't have that when I entered into a relationship. And it wasn't even on my radar. And when you brought this topic up, my thing is, I think it's so valuable for men to know you got to start with yourself first before you invite somebody in. And I'm of the belief that not only the right woman, but women in general, they can sense that. They can sense when a man is bound to his own self-identity and he's confident in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm a firm believer that sparks a level of attraction in women. So you pivot over to me, to young Gatry, right? I got married at 26.
Okay.
I dated my wife for 3 years. We dated for 3 years. And I know our relationship is unconventional because we started off not liking each other, and we grew into loving each other. But I think about all the issues that I started pre-engagement, pre-marriage, that all had everything to do with my lack of self-identity at the time. Mm-hmm. I'm about to go deep here, but I need to pause and share these mics with y'all.
We're listening.
Okay.
We're listening. You're good.
All right. But yeah, so like it's taken me years to connect those behaviors, those thoughts, those actions to a lack of self-identity. But it's one of those things to where, like, as y'all know, I've shared on this podcast before, I started doing the work later in life. Mm-hmm. My frat brother's doing the work now. Now, it's. I don't want y'all to think, hey, I go and I do my self-work early and everything's going to be fine. No, in relationships, two people are evolving. I think back to 15 years ago. totally different person than I was back then. My wife included. She's totally different now. Life changes things.
Oh yeah,
You know?
I agree.
But I still think there's a lot of value in really digging deep, figuring out who you are, figuring out what you want, grabbing hold to that, and not letting anything stop you. Even when life throws curveballs at you, you got to know where you're going. You got to start with the end in mind.
Right. Can I ask you this? I don't know. I don't know how comfortable you are sharing, but what prompted him, and I guess what prompted him to realize that there was some more work he needed to do on self?
Oh, good question. Yeah, and I could definitely share this.
Okay.
What prompted him was he was, as he says, he was taking the bait. He went through a period to where, I guess what we call a hoe phase.
Okay.
He went through that. And one of the things that was enlightening to him was neither party was being fulfilled in this. And it always led to the same outcome, which was drama and dysfunction. And so he had to finally get to a point to where he was like, it's not worth this. Like, what about me? What about what I want? Yeah, okay. She said, I said this last week and y'all went crazy, but she throwing that thing at me, right? So I bite, I take it. Okay, it's cool in the moment, but there's a lot that comes after that he wasn't really ready to deal with.
Right.
And he just, the dysfunction is what got him. And one of the things he kept saying was like, once you take it there with a woman, you're in there for a lot longer than you think you are. Emotionally, things like that.
So was it a situationship that he was involved in?
Several.
This sounds like a situationship more than anything.
Several. And they were empty. He had to take a bird's eye view of it and really assess and admit the fact that this wasn't serving him positively. This was so far off from what he really wanted. Mm-hmm. But it's just like I got a level of empathy for him. Because like I've said on this podcast before, I'm a guy that doesn't get a lot of attention from women. So like, I was telling him, bro, if I was in your shoes, I would have caved too. I can't go into detail on the situations, but let's just say he was getting everything thrown at him effortlessly. Effortlessly.
All right.
So, come on, man, we're men, we're human. Eventually, we're going to succumb to that. We shouldn't, but eventually we are.
Right. What does he want?
Oh, gosh. He wants what his parents have.
Which is?
Stable family. He does. Well, I'm not using his name. He won't care. He doesn't listen anyway. But he does want a wife. Mm-hmm. He wants children. He wants to travel, and he really wants to shape the lives of his kids in a positive way, and he wants a strong woman beside him to help him do that.
Okay.
So like dealing with or assessing these situationships, that's another thing he noticed. These women ain't about the life that I want for my woman. You know what I'm saying? They're being attracted to the exterior. They're not even getting to know me.
So their goals weren't aligned?
Their goals were not aligned. And dude, I guess the most polarizing thing about this is this brother, just looking at him, he's so unassuming. So unassuming. So like, I don't know. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are some of your takeaways? What were some of your takeaways in the conversation you had with him for sure? You kind of talked about the importance of having identity and knowing self and whatnot.
Right.
But just assessing that situation in light of men who are listening, who may be in similar situations themselves, what were some of the takeaways you took from that? Because we are talking about how do you know when you're ready?
Right.
So your frat brother,
Go ahead. I'm
basically after a few situationships concluded, did he conclude he wasn't ready?
Oh yeah, for sure. He knew he wasn't ready because number one, he's not attracting the right type of woman,
Okay.
and he blames a lot of that on Birmingham, but that's another podcast for another day.
Okay. Okay.
But
We'll come back to that
on this episode.
on this one.
Okay.
Yes.
But then yeah, like, and thinking about some of the women, at least some that he shared with me.
Okay.
They didn't have. I mean, their goals in life didn't align for what he had envisioned for his wife.
Right.
So it kind of made it easier for him once you get through all the fun.
Right. Okay. I
I have something else we talked about that I want to share at some point, but not now. I will remember. Trust me.
Cool. I was going to ask you, just tell you to go ahead and keep going, but if you're not ready to share it now, is he ready for that?
He's not,
Okay.
and he told me that.
Okay. That's why he's not
Right.
right. Like
Right.
what
But
I'm saying.
it took him going through that.
I guess what I'm saying is, if he met the woman tomorrow, would he be ready to do that?
No.
Okay. So what I would say to him is it has nothing to do with the women you're attracting. It has nothing to do with that, because if you met the right woman tomorrow, you wouldn't be ready to go through, even if y'all goals are aligned. To me, if you are an attractive guy, you can't help who you attract.
True.
Okay. You're going to, if you got honey, if you walk outside with honey on, like, you're going to attract, you know what I mean?
Bees coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
BEE.
The issue is who you choose to entertain that you're attracting.
Right.
That's the difference. I would say that to a woman, but I would also say that to a man. If you know what you want, then why are you entertaining women who don't fit what you want? To me, that's a clear indication you're not ready.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Like me. I want to lose weight. I'm not ready. Right? I want to get up in the morning with like that and work out. I'm not ready. Because 2 hours prior,
That's what I'm saying. Give
I'm
yourself some
up.
grace here, Walker.
no, I'm not being hard on myself.
Okay.
I'm just saying circumstantially, there are things that are impeding me getting to where I want to be.
Right.
Right? So I'm not being a masochist. I'm not beating myself up. What I'm saying, I'm using myself as an example to say that you can sincerely want something, but there has to be some work that needs to be done on your part so that you are in the position for it should it come.
Right.
Because you don't know when she's coming.
True.
And the worst thing you want is for you to know what you want, it come along, and you're out of position. You're not in a position for her to even want to choose you because you're not ready.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Any thoughts, Black?
I mean, I agree with most what both of you are saying. All I did was just, when you sent that text out, I'm like, let me just make a list of like probably the properties or the characteristics that a guy should probably have in place if he wants to be serious about like entering into a relationship.
Hit me with one
Just one? Well,
off the bat. We may take it somewhere.
I've probably said this about myself plenty of times, but it was like financial stability and career stability.
Financial stability and career stability.
Thoughts, Kat?
Uh-oh.
No,
I don't think those are vital.
you don't.
I think they're important, but I don't think they're vital.
Oh, really? It
Go on.
just takes me back to last week when we had the $14 an hour guy. You think he was ready? You think being financially stable would have been a better option for him
Here's
than
the
struggling together?
Here's the thing. Let me give y'all context. Y'all mean to tell me that just because I got my finances in order and I got a good job means I'm on the fast track to ready for dating readiness? I've got two key cogs. I may lack self-identity. I may lack self-worth. but I got a career and I'm bankrolling.
I don't think it's the end all be all.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. It's not vital.
It's yeah. I think we're saying different things there, because I think, okay, back to fitness, right? I live here in my head. In my head, I get there eventually in real life. I work out, right? That's important. But my diet is trash, right? You need to work out, but that's not the end all be all, right? But I wouldn't say you don't need to work out if physical fitness is your goal. Does that make sense? Talk to me.
I don't know. Like, I mean, with that, if I could sit here and nuance with you, it's uncomfortable here. But I mean, the first thing I think of when you say that is 80-20. It's 80% what you eat, 20% physical. You know what I mean? So like,
but again, I'm trying to tone up and build
I thought
muscle.
you said you were trying to lose weight.
If I'm trying to get fit.
Oh, well, fit is relative. Too much nuance?
You're being evasive at this point.
Okay. So let's
you understand.
peel
You
it back.
understand the point, though. If I am going to the gym and I'm lifting weights, building muscle, getting fit, getting cut, getting summer body. I want a nice summer body. Okay. Part of it, we understand that most of your gains are in the kitchen. However, I wouldn't say, working out is not vital.
I would disagree.
Okay.
Well, let's not spend too much time here.
Okay.
All right.
So since you just disagree overall with it, then your advice to a young guy who may not be financially where he needs to be, what will be your advice to him then?
I believe that if his self-identity is established, if his purpose is established, all that stuff will come.
Right.
I do think it's possible to have self-identity and purpose and not be bankrolling.
Well, go ahead, Black.
Now I was just thinking back to one of our guests, and I think it was your guy,
Lewis.
the guy that has the different businesses.
Louis.
How he put
Luis.
he put his relationship on the side until he got his business in order. Until he was stable.
He ended his relationship with his now wife. They were dating, but he ended that relationship until he got himself established.
That's what I'm thinking about when I say financially stable. Like, hey, let me focus on getting this right now, and then I can make room for a relationship.
It's great. It's going to be great in a novel one day. But I mean, personally, I disagree. Let's bring it home here.
I
Okay.
thought we weren't going to stay here, man.
No, let's bring it. I want to give y'all an example. I want to give y'all a real life example.
Okay.
Bro, I had a career. I had a house, but I was empty inside. The hell I had to deal with.
Sure.
But so that's why I'm like, if I had a choice, I would have worked on Ronnie more and stayed at my mama crib.
But the thing about it is, you said you had those things, career and all that, so you didn't have to worry about that. It'd have been different. You had to worry about not having a career, not having money, and then on top of that, being empty. At least you had that.
Think about it. Think about it, though, y'all. This is real life Ronnie right here. I lost all that. I lost all that.
Let's keep in mind,
and I didn't know what to do.
Sure. But let's keep in mind. Let's be fair.
I didn't lose my house.
He made a list. He had a list of things, right?
Yeah.
Which meant it wasn't a list of one.
Okay.
Can we be fair there?
Yeah. And all I'm saying
one of them
is
is identity. Just saying.
All I'm saying is, to me,
Gotcha.
financial stability and career success are not vital components.
Gotcha.
Just my opinion.
Okay.
Come
You can
for
be
me in
wrong.
the comments, Walker.
You can be wrong. It's fine.
Shut up.
That is why I come here.
Yeah, I would respectfully disagree. I'm not saying you have to arrive, because I think it's going to be your career, your purpose. It's a journey, right? There's no real true finish line when it comes to your life and your journey and your purpose. You should, at the very least, be on the track. At the very least, I don't know if that's what you were saying. You were kind of like, me. It's kind of what we gathered from that. You need to at least be in pursuit. So when you are asked about, hey, how was your day? You're talking about the things that you're going after. You know what I mean? Again, you may not be bankrolling. You may not be partner. You may not be, you know what I'm saying? You may not be at the finish line per se, but you are actively pursuing the thing that is bringing you fulfillment, the thing that you were born to do. I would say at the very least that. And you should be financially secure enough to where y'all go out, you taking this person on a date, you're able to afford it and pay for it. No?
Oh, I don't totally disagree. I just gotta.
You just put it lower on your priority.
There you go. Why didn't I just say that?
Okay.
Because you're Gad. You have to hit us with all this other stuff first before you come back around to where you supposed to be.
So you're not saying don't have it. It's not the top thing.
I'm not saying be a scrub out here, but know who you
It's
are.
not I don't know. At one point,
That's not what I'm saying. I said it wasn't vital. Do you know what vitals are?
define vital.
Vitals, things you need to live, things you need to survive. But we're talking about the context of preparing yourself for dating.
What? What you laughing at, Black?
I don't know, because he said you like, he was putting emphasis on like you don't need it to survive. I'm like,
In the context of dating preparedness.
You kind of
To date?
well, I mean, as far as dating, like you said, it should be a component.
If you can find a unicorn who don't care about that, God bless.
Okay.
God bless.
I thought you read what you said again.
Financial stability, career stability.
Financial stable money, stable career. Yeah, I still got
And
issues with that.
more so the financial stability than the career stability, because like you can move around in career, but like you need to have that foundation of like just being financially stable.
I think my differences of opinion are really, really acute. So let's go into the rest of the list.
Oh, really? Go down my list some more?
Yeah.
The next one is he has a healthy level of independence. He can still pursue his personal goals.
No objections there.
Continue?
Why didn't you leave with that?
This is where it came. Why did I leave with a roadblock?
As though you knew that was a roadblock, but go ahead.
The next one is there is balance as far as being able to prioritize the relationship. He has resources. He has a resource of time to invest in a relationship. Keep going.
Yeah.
You the single guy. Listen, preach, guy.
The next
I
one
like
is
this.
Gat's favorite, identity, self-awareness. He knows who he is, and he knows his strengths and his weaknesses.
Number one.
That's number one for me.
Okay. The list wasn't in any particular order.
Well,
It's just what I was
I'm
thinking about the
putting it in
question.
order.
Okay. Okay, I guess this may be number two
It
then.
is so funny. Like, this guy is so funny to me, dude. He's like, I was
how you
like,
be high 1 minute?
I'd remind him, he has a list.
Hey, he thinks
It's not
list
the
of
end
one.
all be all.
Tear it all down.
Come back, bro. Come back. What else you got, bro? I'm actually you're batting 1,000 right now.
Okay,
in my
the next,
book.
the next one I have was like,
Probably ain't seven. Beat me to it.
the next one is emotional maturity, being able to compromise and consider the needs of his partner. He understands the importance of a partner's feelings and opinions.
It's like the more we get on your list, the more value we're getting. You're starting from the bottom. Now we're here.
I see what you did there. By the way, are you going to see him when he comes to Birmingham?
No.
He's no longer. He is a fraud. He is a fraud.
Come at me in the comments. I'm not going to see Drake. Sue me.
You are a fraud. No, we're not suing you. We're just going to call you fraud. That's
All right, I'll take that. I'll wear that.
That's free. Cost me nothing to call you fraud. Kind of is when you think about it.
It really is. Fraud costs you nothing.
The next one is that he knows what he wants in a woman. And I put like just some things to think about. And I put that she's feminine, cooperative, accountable, considerate, compassionate, and friendly. Oh, you want me to go to my last one?
Yeah.
And the final one was he's steady. He doesn't get too high and doesn't get too low.
You lost him again.
No. There's
started bad.
There's value in that. There's value in that. That's something I wish I had more of.
But you're working on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
But work in progress is nowhere on your list. What? Say it, Walker.
He knows
Get it off your
his
chest.
strengths and his weaknesses.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me ask you this.
See, I'm balanced.
When you take the extreme up here and the extreme down there, yes, you are balanced. Black, let me ask you, is it possible to be a work in progress and even though you aspire to have all those things, it's possible to be in a good place but not have all those things on your list?
Oh, yeah. It's just you have to reach that certain level of comfort. And you got to know that, like, even though I'm not at the level in a certain category, I can get there. I see a way to getting there,
Right.
even though I don't have it completely figured out yet. But it's like it's on my radar.
Black. You don't have to answer this, and I'll edit this out if I need to. Are you ready to date?
Yeah.
So you have exhausted that list.
And it was at the very top of my list. Guess what it was? Financial stability.
You're right where I wanted to ask.
Me or Gad?
You Black. Don't have any
I'm
questions.
not ready to date. Could you imagine me dating now? Anyway, go back to him.
What, 50 years of marriage? I'm not ready to
I'm
date.
not ready to date, bro.
That is hilarious.
I'm not ready to
That
date.
is hilarious. In that case, I ain't ready either. It's cheaper to keep her, right? But what I'm saying is that I guess my question for you is, if men were to be honest with themselves, many of them wouldn't be ready until they were what?
Late 30s? Mid to late 30s?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong guy.
I'm trying to figure out what's happening right now.
40.
Okay.
Maybe not with Walker. Walker's he's a different
I
situation.
mean, the guy you went golfing with.
He don't sound like he's far off.
He's not.
Because he could be.
But can we assume that most men in their late 20s are nowhere near where my frat brother was?
I would agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Being able to recognize where what he's lacking
Yeah.
and what he needs to improve
Oh,
on.
yeah.
And you know what probably helps him a lot?
Self-awareness too. He sounds like he has a good degree of self-awareness.
Yeah.
That was on the list.
Yeah.
Like, I learned from this man. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
And I got 20 years on this dude, and I still learn from him.
You think he learned a lot from his father?
I think so. He spoke he speaks very high of his dad. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that goes back to the responsibility that I know I have to really start pouring this into my sons from a young age.
You gonna have your boys listen to these old podcasts. Dad, I'm tired of listening to the different point.
I believe, and gosh, when I think about the purpose behind this, that is one of my driving forces. Because the thing is, once it touches the internet, it's there forever. So the thought of my boys being able to reference this as they mature,
that's gonna be
if
so
they
dope.
decided, they would come for you though. They wouldn't come to listen to me. Seriously. Because at that point, they'd have X amount of decades of me like, please.
I need another voice.
Mute his mic. But yeah, dude, like that's a crazy feeling, man.
Yeah.
So hopefully don't listen to the earlier stuff.
We are working on trying to scrap that, aren't we?
What earlier stuff? Anyway.
Edit.
Okay, well, thank you for answering that, Black. What did you have, Walker?
If we can agree that it's going to take men to mid-30s at the earliest to really be at a place where they're in a position to entertain a serious relationship, long-term relationship, then obviously men are still attracted to women throughout their 20s. So how do men navigate and handle that? Because it's not like you're going to be a monk.
That's a good question.
It's not like you're going to just, you know what I mean? What do men do in the meantime? Because as your frat brother stated, he realized he was not ready for a relationship because of the situationships that he was involved in. He found himself in situationships, right?
Yeah.
So what do we do in the meantime?
I would say, in the meantime, you establish up front what that relationship is. This is not us looking for a marriage. This is us like, it's gonna be casual to long term, but this is just like temporary for us. Like, just let them know, like, up front, like, be honest, like, this is what this relationship is gonna be. Just define it up front if you can. That would be my advice to them.
That takes a lot of courage.
Well, hey, it'll save you a lot of time on the back end.
True.
Because you said your homeboy was having like...
Yeah, but you know what? To that point, Black, I do think most women, even in that age range, would respond well to that.
Be nice when you get some of them up here.
Say what?
Be nice when you get some of them
Oh
up
my
here.
gosh, if y'all listening, pull up on us.
Depends.
Ooh.
It depends.
Mr. Nuance is back.
It depends. I mean, I think at the end she will respect you for sure. But you're talking about when a woman likes a guy. And you're talking about a woman handling rejection well.
We talked about that during our round too.
And it's kind of like you giving her...
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like...
But it's a rejection.
Yes!
it's like you giving her rejection up front.
If you're establishing...
What do you mean is that rejection?
If you're establishing the guidelines of said relationship, how is that
It's not
rejection?
a relationship. That's the thing.
So, wait, what did I miss? What are you doing? What are you encouraging this guy to do?
Just set the boundaries.
Set the boundaries for...
So can I explain what he meant by that?
Please.
Let me elaborate.
All right, turn his closed caption on.
Okay. What I would explain to the woman is this. Whatever y'all doing, y'all kicking it, whatever. I enjoy hanging out with you, but I want you to know that I have no intentions long term.
Oh, yeah, that's definite rejection. Is that what you said?
I don't have any intentions long term for this. Now, again, I enjoy hanging out with you. I would love to continue hanging out with you. But just so that you have your proper expectations of me and what this is, I want you to know what my intentions are. Now, you want to keep hanging with me? Cool. I would love to hang out with you, continue hanging out with you. Whatever it is we're doing right now, I'm cool with it. I just want you to know I have no intentions beyond this. And you're giving her the right to choose whether or not she wants to opt in or opt out of this dynamic that y'all have. And you have to stand 10 toes down in that if that's how you feel. Because that's how you have relationship creep. Because women tend to have, generally speaking, relationship goals, which are long term. Men have sexual goals, which are short term. This is why, women, if you're listening, a man can stonewall you for the longest of time especially if he's reaching his goal with you. Because that's what we're in it for. Men aren't we're not thinking about relationships.
Especially
like that.
at that age.
Especially at that age. Especially at that age. Again, as I alluded to in the previous episode, we have a bunch of testosterone going. We're at the age where we have the most testosterone in our 20s running through our bodies. Of course we're going to be sex crazed. Of course we're going to want sex from you. They're not thinking long-term relationships. And what tends to happen with men is because they don't set that boundary on the front end. What ends up happening is they get some sex and they end up slowly drifting into something that they didn't really initiate or really want themselves. Down the road, a few years later in a relationship, you may even be married with kids, and you're in a relationship with someone that may or may not really fit where you really wanted to go and who you want to be with. They was just there for the time being, right? There's a lot of men married today to women who it just started off, they just was hooking up, hanging out. You have to be honest up front. If you're going to be sexually active, and I encourage for a lot of reasons abstinence on both sides, men and women. But if you're going to be sexually active, at the very least, you can have integrity about it and be upfront with who you're dealing with, if that is your intention. So, and then again, I do think that discipline is so important here, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I think being disciplined throughout your 20s and being honest with women about where you are and what your intentions are is what will help you navigate through your 20s as you're beginning to really figure out. Because it'd be honest, guys in their 20s, even early 30s, even mid 30s, they probably still don't know what they want in terms of a family dynamic. They know what the skeleton looks like. They know what the shell of it looks like, but they don't really know what it looks like. So why would you entertain a woman if you don't know what it looks like? So be honest about where you are. I just want to kick it. That's it. That's it. And if she wants more, I'm not your guy.
And that's okay.
Yes. And stand on that.
I kind of like that, Walker. I didn't like you at
10
first,
tones
but
down about the fact that don't allow, because see, you want her to respect you, you have to stand your ground on that. I know some women think that their WAP can convince them otherwise. Stand 10 toes down on where you are and the fact that you're not ready. Let her know up front. But you say you do?
Yeah, I didn't like where you're going initially, but I see where you're going now, and I'm cool with that.
Okay. Where you thought I was going?
I'm gonna sound hypocritical here, but for most men, the monk life is not realistic. It's not. Talking about 20s.
It's very realistic for a lot of men.
The monk life?
A lot of men ain't getting access to sex like that.
Well, I mean, I didn't.
It's not voluntary, but it happens.
But I felt like I was the only one that wasn't.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
So some dudes out here capping there.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Tell me more about that in another episode.
We'll do. We'll do.
Huh. Okay.
Who wants to tell their homeboys, man, I ain't had none in years?
Wants to or does? Wants to or does?
Both.
Oh, yeah, I never wanted to, but it was what it was, man. If I was ever asked, I had to keep it real.
But integrity, right?
True. I didn't see it as such, but
Yeah.
okay. See, that opens up a whole nother element in this peer pressure thing, and that means a lot when you're in your early 20s, early, mid, late 20s.
If I have been brought up to believe, and again, sometimes this is unique to the individual because we're talking about your environment, right? If I've been brought up to believe that my masculinity is associated with my ability to conquer a woman, have sex with a woman, get her to sleep with me, right? If I'm not getting that, then I'm going to be very insecure about who I am as a man. And who wants to volunteer that information to anybody?
Right. You know, shouts out to one of my favorite podcasts now, Hardly Initiated. But they had a dude on there who was talking about the emotional distress that he had to deal with from trying to keep up with his friends by having, so many sexual partners and things like that. And, he talked about how we've got everything just flipped upside down. It's cool to be with your homeboys kicking it and man, ran through her. Man, let me tell you about her, whatever. But there's a whole other battle that these guys aren't talking about. That, according to this, I wish I could remember this dude's name, but he was just being real about the stuff he had to deal with. If we could make that okay to have those real conversations, I think you start to turn the tables on that whole peer pressure thing.
Yeah.
Because I got a dear homeboy of mine, single now, but he done ran through a lot. His mentality has changed. He got a lot of bodies. His mentality has changed. His viewpoints on relationships are different. But the thing is, this man will tell you, I can go out here and get just about any woman I want out there. But inside, I'm as lonely as I've ever been. Because I yearn for something. It's a relationship, even though he wouldn't say it. I yearn for something, and I know there's something more I want, but I can't even identify it because I got all these bodies piled up around me.
Right.
Like, think about that, man. Like, I had to chew that up in small pieces and really, really just like digest that. That's crazy because I bought into society. If he got that many bodies around him, how could he ever be lonely? And you can go and get whatever you want? How are you ever lonely, bro? Let me show you what lonely is. Get rejected on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was my viewpoint. So to hear that, dude, that was so polarizing, but it meant a lot. And there's truth in it, I believe. Yeah. But like, we're grown now, so like, it's a safer space for us to talk about that. But I'm sure he would not have admitted that in his early 20s.
And the reason why, because I know a lot of people listen who maybe, Christian and whatnot, or, religious or whatnot. The reason why I give advice to the majority, and I know a lot of people out there are sexually active. The reason why I think that abstinence is so important for men is who you are. You can relate to this, Coach. Who you are at practice is who you're going to be in the game for the most part.
Come on. That'll preach on any mountaintop.
And if you are practicing a lack of discipline in as far as your sex life is concerned, you have to have enough. See, if you told me, Walker, go bench 250, 10 reps of 250 right now, or you lose your wife, you lose your family, you lose everything. That's gonna be tough for me.
But you'll get it.
It's gonna be tough for me. Because number one, I haven't been lifting in a while. It's gonna be tough. But if I go to the gym and I lift regularly, I have chest day every week, and I'm lifting 250, and then you tell me, Walker, go over there on the spot, lift 250 or you lose everything, I don't feel that pressure. Because I have reps of lifting 250. Where are our reps as men in terms of resisting sexual temptation from women we're attracted to? See, the women who aren't attracted to me, in my opinion, that don't count.
Wait, the women that
you're not attracted to.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the women that don't find us attractive.
No.
Is that the same thing?
That's the same thing. But my point is the women who you find sexually attractive who wants you.
Oh, okay. I got.
Where's your reps in terms of turning that down? And for a lot of men, you never even had the opportunity to turn that down. So you find yourself in a marriage, in a relationship, high stakes, and that temptation comes your way. What do you draw on? Right?
Right.
Now we understand that there's a double standard in how men are viewed who've had a lot of bodies versus women who have a lot of bodies. But for men, this is where it catches up to us. If we lack the sexual discipline throughout our 20s, throughout our 30s, get in our 40s, and we're making the most money we ever had. We have a wife, we have high risk here, and you're really tempted, and you could lose it. Why? Because of discipline? Because of a lack of practice? So that will be my encouragement to a lot of brothers that we need to talk about. And this is why I know it can be inconceivable for a woman to hear a man who cheated on his wife to say, I still love her. He probably does. Now, we do know that there are men out there who are conniving, men out there who lack character, men out there who are monsters, right? They have no good intentions. But a lot of men who cheat, they love their wives. They want their family. They just don't have discipline, Gad. They've never went to practice. So they get in the game.
Don't know what to do. Deer in headlights.
If the right situation at home is aligned for this temptation to really take effect, he still loves his wife.
Yeah, for
sure. That guy still loves his wife. He just can't bench 250 like that. Just can't. We got to talk about that. When we talk about preparing ourselves, we got to talk about men developing the necessary discipline, having control of themselves to be able to withstand those temptations.
Some of that goes back to Black's List, which I've scrutinized heavily, and I'll continue to scrutinize.
I ain't mad at that.
But knowing what you want, like really knowing and have a full 360 understanding. You see where I'm going here, Walker?
This conversation is going.
So when it comes to, because let's just embrace society where it is now, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Sex is a driving force in dating right now, right? We're talking like first date level. Mm-hmm. Some expectations for some, okay? But if you've got that knowledge and full scale understanding of the potential ramifications of that propels you to make a better decision. Wait, hold on. I was talking to OG last year. He was telling me, man, he got bodies and he had to deal with STDs. He said some girl came up pregnant and then, he was with her. So that was on his conscience, like, is that what I want for my next relationship? Or do I want something more fulfilling? Mm-hmm. I'm not here to judge what you want or what you don't want. But to Black's List point, you got to know what that is, and you got to have a full scale understanding of all that is, of what all that is.
Right.
It's important, man.
I agree.
And it's part of the value spaces like this have, because we can talk openly about that. Mm-hmm. And like I said again, we're not trying to sway your opinion or not, but you don't know the facts.
Right.
It's up to you at the end of the day.
Right. I'll say this. I was thinking about this topic, and I agreed pretty much I'll add a little bit extra, but Black he gave a lot of good points in terms of what men need to be considering should they find themselves wanting a relationship, how to get ready for it. I dealt with being honest about where you are. I think men got to be honest about where they are. I think sometimes we lie to them. I think men lie to themselves a lot.
Ego.
They lie to themselves a lot. And I think oftentimes men fear rejection.
Yes. Of course.
So oftentimes being honest with the woman about your intentions, that is a display of confidence in you and who you are and where you are.
That can I add something to that? Because I've got a lot of thanks and gratitude for my own situation, even though I know it's unique as all get out. But the beauty in being enemies first. Not that I am an advocate of that for anybody.
You're so dramatic.
But there's a beauty in it. I mean, because of not being friends and working to a friendship and then working to a relationship. The beauty of that is like you take all that out of the equation. You're just you.
That's not that unique.
Is it not?
It's not that unique. It's a good story.
Yeah,
It's a good story. Yeah. It's an entertaining. That's why y'all go to it every time
Right.
you to go to
But it
it.
validates what you said, though.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about lying to her about anything. I'm like, we really don't like each other.
Right.
Yeah, I fart after Taco Bell.
That you can edit out.
And I don't think that was the turning point for her either.
Speak for yourself. I'm joking.
You do?
So it's not just me.
We have right.
But that took a lot of pressure off of me in that sense. And what's crazy was I remember, man, because I was just so thirsty. I'm just being real. I'm being so real. Not even thirsty for her, thirsty outside of that. But I wasn't worried about that with her. Mm-hmm. But everything else I was trying to do, all the other stuff I was trying to chase, yeah, man, I was major capping. Major.
Yeah.
But keeping it real with the one I didn't even like at the time. It's wild.
So you agree then that being pushing past the fear of having integrity and being honest with yourself as well as with her is paramount.
Yes.
Throughout this stage.
100%.
As you're finding out what it is that you want.
Even if y'all are enemies.
Even if you're enemies. I would say to brothers is that I do think that you're ready to date. I'll say two things that I thought about is I mentioned discipline. Having control of not only your body, but having control over your emotions. And I think sometimes if, we be honest as men and we don't talk about this, sometimes you do end up getting sexmatized. You end up establishing soul ties with people that is going to be tough to kind of shake them. Especially if you know that this ain't it, but you enjoy having sex with them. You're going to have better control over your emotions in that regard. So I would say for a guy, if you're able to manage or have good discipline, control over your body, your feeling, your thoughts, emotions and whatnot, I think you're prepared. That's one of the things that will prepare you for a relationship because you're going to need that. You're going to need that. But you're going to also have to develop your discernment. And I think this will help your frat brother here. Is she really there for you? That there's a big debate going on about coffee dates. There's a big debate. There was some lists that came out a few weeks ago about where to take a woman, right? Places that aren't acceptable. Long list.
Cheesecake Factory.
Different type of dates and whatnot, right? Yes. Discernment. Talking about discernment here. Am I really a priority? Or is her experience a higher priority than me? Pro tip, gentlemen. Pro tip, fellas. For the woman that challenges you on where to take her for a date, ask her this question. and ask her to be honest. For the woman who pushes back, declines in favor of an actual dinner or an actual restaurant or an actual experience, ask her if it was a Fortune 500 company that she was in the second or third rounds of interviews with, would she do that with them? Would you behave that way with a Fortune 500 company that's offering you a very impressive position with impressive perks, benefits, flexible work schedule, can work from anywhere, and they take you to a restaurant that's a chain for lunch to interview you? Would you redirect them the way that you redirect that guy? Now, if she does, we all could have collectively agreed that she's an idiot, but at the very least, you can give her credit for being consistent. However, I refuse to believe that most women would do that.
Facts.
Right? And the reason for that is she values that job more than she values you. She values you to the degree in which you can do stuff for her and provide a certain experience for her. She doesn't really care about you per se. I attended a wedding. Talking about discernment, gentlemen. I attended a wedding last year with two individuals, remarried in their 40s, right? Beautiful, beautiful wedding. But after the wedding, you know, when the bride and the groom speaks, he told a story of how when they were dating, and he wanted to see her for lunch. He was excited, you know, they were doing that honeymoon phase where you just got to see each other. He wanted to see her, take her for lunch. He called her up there, talked, was like, hey, you know, I want to meet you for lunch and whatnot. She reminded him of the fact that he shared a goal with her, a financial goal, which required him to be on a budget. She reminded him that, hey, you have a goal here because you're trying to get a house. You're saving money. We can hang out anytime, but you need to keep in mind your budget. This hit that guy and stayed with him to where he shared that story on his wedding day in front of a crowd of witnesses. Ladies, that means something to us. It costs you nothing to add that type of value to a man to where you know that man knows she cares about me. She's really here for me. But if I'm making these lists about where he has to take you, ladies, you're communicating to that man that he is secondary to whatever fantasy you've conjured up in your head about how your relationship should go. Discernment. Is she there for you? Speaking of job analogies, I said that you are the business. You offer a role. You offer perks. How does one get to the second and third round in terms of a lunch interview? That means not only are you impressive on paper, but when they phone screen you, they're talking to you on the phone. They're talking to you about you. They're talking to you about the company. Just having light conversation, just breaking the ice, seeing if this is a serious candidate or not. If the person is dry on the phone, closed answers, not really distracted. If they did that on a phone screen, what's the likelihood you think they'll get a call back?
Not very likely.
Why are we giving women dates when they slow to respond to us on text? The conversation is dry. Oh, that's right. You think you may be able to get some sex with her because she's fine. That's what it is. Discipline. That's Yeah, gotta be. See, if she talks like that, if this is her now, it's not gonna get better. You're not gonna break through the ice and she's gonna become a chatterbox. No, this is how she's going to be, brothers. Why are you getting that far on a date? Why are you taking her out? Why are you taking her? Why is she advancing to the next round when she didn't master the phone call, the conversation? And I don't have a problem with coffee dates or walk in the park because, again, women have to understand that men do not view relationships the way that you view it. You are the one with the long-term goal. You are the one with the excitement around the relationship. He isn't thinking about a relationship. He's not thinking about a relationship. What typically gets guys to a relationship is when he meets someone that he realizes, I cannot live without this person. Okay, I'm open to a relation. This woman has provided so much value to him to where he'd be a fool to let her go. That's what gets him thinking about, man, I gotta lock this down.
Right.
But he's not going into that relationship thinking that unless he's a Christian guy, unless his culture has taught him to prioritize marriage, right? Unless his faith, he wants to honor God. He don't wants to be out here sleeping around. Those guys tend to prioritize marriage higher than the average guy, the regular guy, right?
Right.
But those guys are outliers. Unfortunately, ladies. So he's going to be very practical about relationships, which means he's not going into it thinking I'm going to drop $300 and I don't even know if I like this woman. I don't even know if this woman has great conversation. I don't even know what her agenda is. You think he's going to drop some money? And who wants to hang out with someone who they're not even sure if they enjoy being around this person? I'm talking about discernment here, gentlemen. How is she to the waitress, to the waiter? How is her conversation? Is she on her phone? Is she easily distracted? Are you discerning, gentlemen? Are you paying attention to her? Talking about if you know you're ready for a relationship. Are you ready? See, this is how you avoid becoming the foodie date. I had that happen to my homeboy.
I feel attacked.
I had that happen to one of my homeboys. Took a girl to, of all places, Cheesecake. Dropped a load. She ordered. She went for it. Shared with her after the date that he liked her. She responded, oh, I know. That's not when you want to find out that this woman isn't interested.
Right.
Be discerning, fellas, which means you're going to have to go into this very disciplined and be listening to your head that's on the top of your shoulders, not the other head. And you're going to have to not pay attention to what she says, but watch and observe how she acts and reacts. That'll tell you a lot of whether or not you need to continue to pursue this woman or not. You learn those skills. You observe her and her behavior. Her friends. Who are her friends? Who does she hang with? And contrary to me getting roasted or attacked on social media, your history matters.
You're too fragile, Walker.
Yeah,
I'm
insecure.
Very insecure. But you want to know who isn't insecure? Mercedes, when I try to get a vehicle finance, because I think they run a credit history. Is that insecure? Are banks insecure when they want to run your history of payments? Back to the job analogy. I want you to walk up in a Fortune 500 company and try to land that job with no resume. Well, my history don't matter. My work history don't matter, but I'm the right person for the job. Are they insecure? Or did you get triggered because you know your past is crappy? Your past matters. Check the Carfax, gentlemen, on her and her friends. Because if you don't know nothing about her, you may know someone who knows her friends. Check her out. Do your due diligence. It matters. It's very important. I ain't gonna keep you, bro.
And I just want to point out that none of that was on Black's list.
I was trying to reach for that shotgun sound effect how you have.
Don't let people shame you into being concerned about that person. Because see, nowhere in real life does that emotional plea apply.
Right.
You can't get a car, you can't get a house, can't get a job without history.
That's true.
What have you been doing up to this point? Who have you been giving it to and why? It's important. Shoot, it ain't got to be something crazy. Who have you been dating? Who are the type of dudes you've been dating? Background, discernment, gentlemen. Don't go into these relationships blind just because someone finally gave you their number. I know it's tough out there as men because you're going to experience a lot of rejection. But men, that doesn't mean you don't keep your head on a swivel. I did all right. I did all right this week.
Yeah, I think you were saving up something from them comments.
He got tired of
He got put his own response.
No, but see, I don't respond to them because I don't respond to emotional people. Those were emotional responses.
I remember you saying that.
Because they were attacks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't respond to emotional. If you can disagree with me logically, I'll listen to you. I may even engage and go back with you, go back and forth with you. But the emotional attacks, you don't know me.
Right.
You don't know me. I got a family. Do you? Okay. I don't have to defend that. Like I don't have to defend you know what I mean? Like I'm good. I'm cool. But I think a lot of people do think like that though. So it's important to give those thoughts out here on Wax. I'll respond here. Cool, fair.
I'm good. Take us home, Walker.
You think that'll help?
Yes.
A lot of brothers who
I do think so for sure.
Let's get out of here. Coach Gat got a coach. Y'all at the THA Tipping Point, one word, Instagram, X, YouTube. And as always, I'm Caesar Walker. He's Ronnie Gatchery. That guy over there is Black. And we are the Tipping Point Podcast. Thanks again for supporting.